Welcome to the Peak Performance Podcast by In-App Sport, International Edition. Here, we help you unlock your full potential by providing your health, performance, and mindset. We bring top experts in health, nutrition, sports, and personal growth to give you the best strategies to level up your body and mind. If you're ready to break limits and become the best version of yourself, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to the international section of the Peak Performance Podcast by In-App Sport. Today we have a very special guest, Elisha Harris, a former professional athlete, coach, and the inspirational force behind Shoot Your Shot. She's someone who has faced challenges, I believe, and turned struggles into opportunities. And today, Elisha's gonna tell us all to help us achieve our peak performance. Elisha, welcome to the Peak Performance Podcast, and thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you here with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. So, Elisha, you're so funny, I have to say, just before we get started here. I saw you for the first time on Instagram. A reel came up to me, and I just found it so cool, so funny, so motivational. The way you transmit to people, it's amazing. And I believe you've changed a lot of lives. So, well done for what you're doing.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, appreciate it.
So, let's get started, Elisha. First of all, who is Elisha Harris?
That's such a good question. Deep down, I would say on a soul level, I am a person that just loves people. And I really have come through a lot of the refiner's fire, I guess you could say, and overcome so much. And I think I maybe chose that as I came into this world so that I could help other people also believe that that is possible by first doing it myself, right? And I just have a passion for seeing people win. So the more I do that, I'm like, ooh, I just have this. That's why I say shoot your shot. Because one, it's like first believe and take action. But two, it's like shoot it the way you were designed to shoot it, like your shot. Quit trying to copy somebody else. And there's a whole thing that goes into that, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, then you need to know who you are. So me, that's me. I have a lot of background in a lot of different professions, I think, which has molded me into having the ability to do a lot of different things to help people. And I love that. When a lot of people would be like, what is Elisha doing now? Or this and that, looking like I'm just all over the place. But truly, it was part of my path to gain a lot of different skill sets to do what I'm trying to do.
Cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, why would you say you do what you do now? And how did your journey lead you here where you are at the moment?
How did my journey? Well, like I said, there's just been so much going on. I used to coach college basketball. I will say basketball was my life. It was my saving grace. That's all I did was live in my own little bubble as a kid. I played with the boys on the streets and I just had so much fun doing that. So if life was hard, I'm just glad that I was given that ability or that passion to love it because it took me to college and all these things. And then after I got out of playing, I realized, you know what, maybe I could coach even though I was shy. But I took all these opportunities to continue to stretch myself because I had no idea what I truly wanted to do. Deep down when I was a kid, I was like, I want to play professional ball. And that didn't happen off right away. And then when I was done playing, the year that I got to play professional basketball, it was still like, what should I be doing next? And just there's so many things that I had to do to get to this point again so that I can truly help guide people and help people. I love the personal development realm. So once I got into sales and door-to-door sales, that was like next level of mindset and growth than even sports could give me. I realized like in sports, you have this certain level, but man, if you don't grow in this area. So I remember always taking opportunities. It's like God was leading me down opportunities that would truly help me stretch to become the person I need to become. And I think, yeah, there's so much I could say there.
I guess so. I've heard you say that you, I believe, were, but no longer are a shy person. I mean, that's kind of amazing that you say that you've been a shy person, I guess, in the past. How did you manage to become Elisha Harris today? Like, you know.
Yeah. That is, I know everybody's been asking that lately. They're like, there is no way. Like, I just started a group last night of a bunch of powerful women, bringing them together so I can help us all rise together.
Amazing.
And they're like, there's no way that happened. But I realize innately, maybe that was some of my purpose. I just never, I'm glad that my younger self never gave up, because I was always, once I just didn't have the awareness I didn't have when I had a coach tell me about like victim mentality. I'm like, what is that? And I didn't know I was living in it because I wasn't taught any different. It's like, well, why? Like, the world doesn't care, Alicia, if you go into a job one day. Like, he was teaching a whole team this, but it really hit me. And I'm like, well, I don't want to show up that way. So the more truth and knowledge, it's like I've always been such a seeker for truth and light and knowledge that that's propelled me to always shoot my shot or to seek where I can find truth and light anywhere. And so I was just hungry for that. And I think because of that, even though I was shy, I was like, ooh, it was so hard. So it wasn't overnight by any means, right? It was always taking opportunities that truly, like when you hear those quotes, comfortable with getting uncomfortable. I was doing that on little scales, right? Little baby steps are like, okay, I'll get into college coaching. I was still afraid to speak too much, but I realized I love the recruiting side of it. And so I started with that. I remember making some phone calls and like some awkward calls at the beginning. I'm like, ah. But the more I allowed myself to just kind of be me and have fun and not have a preconceived, like, well, you have to act like this way because you're a college coach. It's like I could connect. And then I realized that was one of my gifts. And so the more I did the college coaching, and then I went to other, like I said, other routes. I went and played professional basketball after college coaching because I'm like, something happened in my life and I'm like, I'm going to go do something I've always wanted to do. Had no idea how that was going to happen, and I made that happen. That stretched me, gave me more opportunity to grow. And then when I came back from that, I kept thinking, go do door to door. And I'm like, oh, I'm like in my 20s. People usually do that, like in their 20s. Why? But again, if I let that limiting belief, right? Well, not everybody else is doing it. They all maybe have a steady career, but I was prompted to go do that because I knew that that would be a skill set that would really up level that. And let me back up, even, well, between door to door, I even got a job. There was like, after I came back from Sweden, I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I applied for like 3 jobs, got all 3 of them. It was like high volume hiring at Amazon, I got at Delta, and I got Utah Jazz Camps and Clinics coach.
Cool.
And so I was like, okay, let's just do all of it. But I remember as I did the high volume hiring Amazon one, it was like a brand new building that opened up. And so I went there and I just dressed nice, kind of like I do as a college game day coach. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, oh, who are you? Do you have any like experience with public speaking? And to me, I knew I was like, not really, but I'm like, yeah. And I was like, I used to coach college basketball, just kind of went with it because I wanted to be that person.
Yeah.
And so I allowed myself to step into that role, and that stretched me because I had to do presentations in front of big groups of people. And at first that was like, and then you stumble a little bit. But once I got so good at it, I remember people like, you don't get paid enough for this job. And I'm like, you're right. But, the evolution of I kept shooting my shot and put myself in comfortable situations, allowing myself to maybe look stupid or fail or whatever, because that was the only way that I could progress and get better at anything that I wanted to. And I've realized that was one of my fears of speaking, but truly it's one of my gifts. So when we have a fear, I've realized if you can face that fear, on the other side of it is a gift you're going to unveil if you will trust and have faith and just allow yourself. It comes to humble, right? It's like the ego part of us all. The ego's in part of everybody, but if we let that protect ourselves to not look stupid, then it prevents us from truly being able to just be humble and look silly for a minute and just go forth and grow. So
Yeah, amazing. So powerful, everything you said there. That's amazing. Yeah, as you said, I mean, if you don't expose yourself to, let's say, stressful situations, I mean, stress makes you grow, doesn't it? Like,
yes,
yeah, like
even if it's just a little bit at a time, it's like,
exactly. Like in sport, if you stress your muscles, you're gonna help them grow. If you stress your mind, you're gonna help your mind grow, and so forth.
yeah, you have to be uncomfortable. Exactly. In the sports, it's like, well, if I just do a little bit where I didn't really sweat and I didn't really push myself and I didn't go deep, then you're only going to get as much as you put in, and that's not going to help. And I wanted so much that I'm like, I'm going. People know me now. It's like, you're just going to go head first in whatever you attempt, whether it was maybe the right direction or not. Because if it's not the right direction, I will know pretty fast.
Yeah.
I've learned.
Yeah, that's so inspirational what you've just shared there because I mean, you will learn through struggle. And yeah, I mean, you have to expose yourself to uncomfortable situations. And so basically, you went from being a coach to a professional basketball player, right? You said. And you didn't play in the States, did you? As a professional basketball player? You played in college, I believe, right?
I got to play college basketball where I was part of a powerhouse at the University of Alaska. I chose to go Division 2. I had some Division 1 offers, but I really liked what the coach was doing up there, and I wanted to be part of that more than anything. And so we ended up beating like big teams like Syracuse and these big Division 1 tournaments, and where people would think that we were cheating, but we overcame so many doubters and this and that because like my intuition was like, I need to learn from this coach. And I did. And I'm grateful I did because like he just thought so differently and he was a game changer in that. He's also the one that kind of taught me about, the victim mentalities, and he brought people together. I could see how much, looking backwards, how much personal development he was trying to do in through sports. But yeah, so I played up there. We went to 2 Final Four championships. Then when I started coaching, I was part of a Elite 8 championship as well, and all these situations. So that was really, really cool. And then I started getting into coaching when I was actually, he's the one that connected me with one of my coaching jobs. It was another chance of like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not, we all have our different strengths, right? And I love like individuals and certain things and connecting. To be honest, I just never loved the actual X's and O's. And so there was parts of the stuff that I loved and there's parts that I just didn't. And I'm like, just let me thrive and be a recruiter and help these kids and train them up. And like, I've realized being part of so many different coaching teams, like, it's just like when you coach the team, if you put the players in the right spot so that they can shoot their shot with their strengths, the team's going to be so good. And I feel like even the staffs need to function that way too. Instead of expecting everybody to have the same gifts, it's like we could be so more cohesive if we can thrive together and
Yeah,
use each other's gifts in the way that they need to, instead of being like, this is the conditioning, this is the box, you need
yeah,
to fit in this box. And I've realized that so much in society everywhere, in
yeah,
any kind of job. But that's the magic, right?
yeah, that's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. And it's amazing how a coach can change your life in a way.
Yeah. Even if it was just one person, like the person, it's like if I go to a speaking event, there might be one person that's actually seeking
Yeah.
certain types of knowledge, and they're the ones that's going to receive it. Because I've learned you have to be in a receiving state
Hmm.
to receive things, but you have to be looking for it. If you're not looking for it, you won't hear it, you won't receive it, you won't see it.
Yes, that's so true. You also said door to door. You mean sales?
Yeah. So when I say door to door, I mean like you're taking a sales job that's fully commission and you're going to people's houses door to door. They have no idea you're coming. You're basically soliciting, you're not invited, and
That's
you're going to
like
go
a
talk to
master.
people.
That's a master in personal development, like right away.
That's why I'm like, if you can, that's why I'm promote, if you can spend one summer, especially to like young after college, one summer doing that, it's going to teach you so much for your whatever profession you use, because those skill sets will prosper,
Hmm.
like your business, your job, career, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Because it's
So
intimidating. I
powerful.
remember the first few times too. I have to look back when I've ever trained newbies, because you're like, when I think back, I remember the first door. It's like your heart's racing, your chest is stuttering, you forgot all the things you're supposed to say, and you're like, "Hi, do you want solar?" You're like, "I bet you're it." And then
You're
I had to
sweating.
learn.
Yeah,
And then I remember going back, and it was like when I had to go do it myself, and I didn't have a trainer with me. I really took time after every single door. I'd be like, okay, I didn't do great on that, but what is one thing as I look at it, looking back, what could I have done better? And so after every single door, I would ask myself, what could I have done better? Just like one door at a time. So it's like that one failure at a time, and just looking at it and closing those gaps so that I could get good.
yeah, amazing. So powerful.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. So, Alicia, what was the pivotal moment in your life that set you on this path?
I feel like there's a couple pivotal moments. I've realized looking back, this one's a hard one because, again, there's a couple, but I would say when I was thinking about this earlier, again, the background I came from, for me, I realized all the hardships I had to go through were just messages and guidance, kind of like a lot of them, I would say pivotally, were relationships. I went through certain relationships that ended like so tragic. And then I've like specifically three, I would say. Like my first time I was actually engaged at 19.
Okay.
And I'm glad that never happened because that was a disaster. But I realized how I was raised. I've had to learn up to this day so much about attachment styles, anxious, avoidant, secure, what that truly means. And I realized those were like pivotal moments because that's when it's like, that breaks up. I am going all in. I'm not going to be a victim. I want to change. And then the next one was actually when I chose to go play professional basketball. I was coaching college at Odessa College. I went through this disastrous situation after a couple of years. And it was more of an attachment thing too. Like, why am I giving my power to somebody else? And so after that kind of ended and I found the truth because I was seeking it, I need to know the truth about this situation. I found the truth. That hurt really bad, but I needed it. And that allowed me to go do something I truly wanted to do. And then the other one happened probably like 2 years ago. That was like it's like these were quantum leaps for me, the bigger quantum leaps in life. And then the third one happened where it's like another message. Why am I giving this person my power? Why am I looking for my happiness outside of myself? And then I've also realized a lot of it was because I'm also attached to these people because I was mirroring like power that I saw in them and their skill sets and certain things that I actually had in me. I just haven't developed yet. So there's so many things I've learned about that. And those were big turning points for me of like, oh, that was such a good message. So now it's kind of like the song, like The Broken Road from Rascal Flatts, right? It's like that broken road is truly guiding you to where you need to be. So if you're feeling pain, it's okay. We have to learn to embrace the pain and sit with it and find what the message is in the struggle, the pain, the sorrow, the backstabbing, whatever it is, because feel like it's leading us to a higher message and perspectives of why we're here on earth to learn. So a lot
Yeah,
of, I would say the relationships were the pivotal things for me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. When you said big team, you were talking about that big team. I can't think of the word now, man.
The mindset.
Yeah, like victim
Yeah.
mindset, right? So something wrong happens to me, something bad happens to me, and I have two options: just play the victim mentality, or take the pain. It's going to be painful, but what can I learn from this painful situation and just move on?
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, and I think same thing, things happen for a reason. Like, I guess when something painful hurts you, that's a message telling you, look, you've got to take this road, you know,
Yes.
and just
Yes.
keep.
And because everybody has that option now, they get to choose, okay, am I going to learn from this or am I going to keep repeating it?
Yeah,
And if I keep repeating it, it gets worse. And it's like this spiral effect where it's like, when is it going to be enough for you to actually want to change? For me, it's like, I just want to go. But I see some people that just want to stay there. And it's almost like they're just so comfortable in that
yeah,
they don't want to leave. And so I have a hard time with the people that are like, I really want help with this something, but then you give them the tools and resources and guidance and they don't want to go and they have all the reasons not to. And I'm like, I don't pity those people, those ones, because you're not willing to take that leap. The ones that are actually looking, I'm going to help them. I'm going to show up for them. I'm going to fight for them to do the work for themselves because I know what's on the other side of that. And that's what I'm super passionate about because they truly are guidance. Like, hey, for me, truly the last one, because like I will say the breakthrough has been the guidance for me of tapping into my source. Like I was raised in a religion, but I've learned that with religion, you can go to church, you can go to things, but if you don't hear or receive or feel connection to your higher power, it really doesn't matter the doings. And so my whole life, that didn't make sense for me. And I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, so the last like big pivotal moment, it really on a deeper level, was like, I am really going to find out what this message. I thought I learned from the last one, but it's still there. So that means you can't shove things down. You have to embrace things. And I realized too, some of that was for me really tapping into my source, because I have learned in my truth that we can become our fullest potential when we really tap into our source, our intuition, trust it, because now we don't have to look outside of ourselves to fill that hole with a person, an activity, any kind of addictions or attachments. And at the end of the day, I've learned that true freedom in religion, in Buddhism, in yogi stuff, all of it is the same thing. It's mastering yourself. If you can't master yourself and your mind and these things, then you will be attached to things outside of you. When you look at it from that perspective, you're like, that's why it's a daily journey of, okay, I do have to give up maybe this habit and this if I want to attain this feeling and I want to be a higher version of myself. But it all comes down to a choice and a desire.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true and so powerful. And yeah, I just believe that personal development should be a compulsory subject in education. Like, it's
Yes.
so powerful
Yes.
and so important. And I think like every kid should be going through that subject. It will make a big difference, I believe.
I do too, because we don't always understand how to apply things. And I look back and I'm like, that's me looking back of whether I did that for youth sports or something. I want there to be a thing where they have understanding of what that means. Because you can, if you have it here, but I'm a true believer that we're here to expand. And I feel like it's your soul's like almost expanding. Because if you look at people that like enter the room, and it's like they walk a certain way, but you can almost feel their energy in the room, because when you do internal personal development, it's like your whole soul just expands where everybody can feel it. And that's what we don't see because we're so focused on just the physical, right? We're like, oh, I'm just going to grow this part. But the true magic's in growing that part of us.
I can feel
And when
your
I've done
energy
that,
from here.
you're like, see, you feel it through the phone. I was like, woo, I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I just believe in that. So I agree with you. That's something I missed when I was younger. Like I wasn't, I've learned when you're in survival mode, it's a little harder, right? Because I was just surviving. All I knew was that parents weren't really around. So you just, you get to be a kid. I played my basketball, but there comes a point when it's like, where could I have learned this? And I'm glad I learned it a little bit from a coach, to this, to this, to this, to I feel like God this whole time was, even if I didn't know he was there, I feel like the universe and God is truly putting pieces around us if we're willing to get quiet enough to listen and feel the nudges, and we're like, okay, yeah, everything is working out for me. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true. Yeah. Like this reminds me at me when I was younger, because I was also a very shy girl. And I like sports. I was playing with the boys too. And yeah, I just couldn't speak in front of people. Like I just didn't want to speak. I was a good listener though, I
We're
was
the
good
same.
listener.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, but no, not a good speaker. I didn't like it. But um my parents sent me to study to the States, and that was my master's in personal development.
No way. Oh, I didn't know that. That is
Yeah,
so cool.
I was in the other part of the world. At that moment, there were no phones, like, I mean, no cell phones. So I just couldn't do this. Like, we couldn't see each other. And yeah, I mean, that was so powerful because I had to survive basically and learn the language because I just knew a few words like, can I go to the toilet and that kind of stuff in the middle of the
Yeah,
classroom. I remember my first American history lesson, I just didn't get a word. I just couldn't understand anything, like nothing, zero,
that's
because I had
wild.
no English. But like I've learned, I had to learn.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah. And
Oh,
then from there, I started to change my mentality. And obviously, sports in America taught me a lot of skills as well. Like, I like the kind of mindset that athletes have in the
yes.
States. Like, I love it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for sharing. And I feel like sometimes when we're forced to go all in, like you were forced to, or maybe I was in situations, I feel like that's when the true magic also starts to happen. Because right now it's like everybody's got plan B and C in case this doesn't work out. And that's not trusting. But
Yeah.
like when we're actually forced to go all in like that, that's where it's like, okay, I'm here and it's going to work out because I'm all in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yes.
So, Elisha, how would you describe failure?
How would I describe it? I think as just a tool to truly break through and succeed if you're using it right and looking at it at the right way. Because I see, obviously, we get in this mode, or I have, and I see other people do it, of fear, right? You're like, well, I fear failure because I will look stupid, and it goes back to all the other things, right? I don't want to feel a certain way. But that's why I feel like the more you do personal development, you can get to the point where like, oh, I can show up like this because I know I need to fail. So failure to me is just, there's no avoiding what it is of trying something and knowing you're going to not be great at it at the beginning. But it's the tool. It's the tool that you have to use and go through to go where you want to go, truly.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Have you ever turned failure into opportunities?
Yeah, my whole life.
I think we all do, right?
Yeah, just like kind of the whole everything I kind of talked about, right? Every dead end or everything, every end of a relationship or ending of like even a college coaching job. I remember one example when I left Salt Lake Community College. We weren't on the best of terms, me and so I decided to just leave. We just didn't see the same way, and that's okay. And it was hard for me though, because I was back in Utah. I was closer to family or friends again. And I was like in tears, but I took this other job. I'm down in Odessa, Texas, and looking back now, I'm so grateful that that dead end that looked like it was so painful and heavy for me turned into a place I needed to be, to now, like I had experiences there, but there's a girl in my life right now, you'll probably see her on my social media, named Anna Judgmel. And so I've known her for 10 years. She actually played for me. She's from Italy. And she was the first girl I met there before the whole team even showed up. And it's just like this girl was just hungry for information. And throughout the years, I've seen her just go through the waves too. She's had similar backstory as me. And now she's in Utah. And it's just been cool as I've really, like, she's had some pivotal moments over the last year where I've really been able to help coach her and see her just like so evolve. And I'm like, I look back and like, if that dead end, right, didn't happen, I wouldn't have met this girl that I feel like is part of everything that I'm building right now. Like she's truly going to be at the forefront with me of where I'm being led to just step into the unknown and lead people. So I would say that's a good example of that. And yeah, all my struggles like that were just true blessings. The closed doors are like, cool, go find another one. Go find the one that's open.
Exactly. Imagine having a roadmap designed just for you. Couch tailored to your lifestyle, nutrition that fuels your goals, and a mindset that keeps you unstoppable. That's what my one-to-one coaching sessions are all about. Let's work together to unlock your full potential. Book your consultation today at www.enapsport.com and let's make your success inevitable. So we've been looking at failure, struggle, how to turn struggle into success. What are the 5 best steps someone can take to achieve this? What advice would you give to the audience?
I was thinking about this one earlier and I'm like, you know what? There's so many things I could say. But I would truly say, one, you have to remember that looking hindsight, again, struggle is where the growth happens. So if you're not struggling, you can't grow. And so if you truly want to succeed, you have to go through some refinery fire to get to where you want to go. So I'd say don't give up, right? And then be coachable and seek. Like even for example, like I see Anna, she was right behind me as I led the path room. She saw my changes and she wanted to go into that. So it was more of she started coming to me and asking questions. So it's like seek and be coachable. When you get the information, soak it up. I've understood when people are truly seeking, they're going to find. So while you're in the struggle, seek for answers and be coachable. So be open to when we make those decisions, like it's like the right mentors, the right people will just be put in our path. And now we'll see them and we'll go to them for the answers. So it's like I'm a big believer in having a coach and a mentor with anything, because sometimes we can't see our own gaps.
Yeah.
And we're all here to help each other. So we don't have to do it alone. So maybe that's another piece. Maybe that's the number 3. Like I believe in that. Like you don't have to do it alone.
Okay.
And allow yourself to know that it's not gonna last. Like you're not always gonna be in struggle, and at some point you're gonna break through. And if there's a closed door, you just have to find the other one. And ultimately, I would say the whole I don't even know if these are in order, sorry, but the ultimate number
Okay.
one for me that I've learned is there's so much power in connecting with your higher power, whatever that looks like for you. Because this has been a game changer for me. Like if I were to have done that at a younger age, I would have been a better athlete and everything. And since I was just in survival mode, right? But the more I've done that, it's like everything people are plagued with right now, with fear, anxiety, depression, all these things, I think can be conquered if we can get quiet enough. Look at all the yogis and the people, right? When they're quiet, you can get the peace, you
Yeah.
can get the clarity, you can get downloads, you can get direction when you can truly connect with yourself and your higher power. And that also comes, I think, with just loving yourself enough to believe that you can, that you're worthy of connection and love and unconditional love, no matter who you are, what you've done, this and that. So I would just say that's the number one thing is truly tapping into that power that is accessible for all of us.
Okay. Right. Let's do a
So
quick recap here. So you said connect with your higher power. That's number one.
I would say that's number one.
All right. This will not last forever. That's number two.
Yep. You'll get through it if you don't quit, basically. Yep.
Don't do it alone. We believe in
Yes.
mentors or coaches, right?
Yes.
Be
Yes.
coachable.
Yes.
So listen to advice. And missing one.
So maybe seek too. Maybe those can be separate. Like seek, and then everything you're seeking will come around.
All right. Okay.
So seek, be a seeker of truth and understanding, or like wherever you want to go, seek and look for it, because that means you're believing that it's out there and you're going to find it if you will truly seek.
This is so
So maybe
powerful.
believe. Maybe you want to call that one believe.
Okay. Believe. Yeah. In what you're doing
Believe,
and
because
believe in yourself.
beliefs, that's right, believe, because beliefs are decisions. And I have truly learned that. So that's why they said, as a man thinketh, if you believe you are or aren't something. So start believing. And I've learned part of the personal development, right? We all on human nature we come in here and we are so negative naturally that it's like we have to truly change that subconscious, which is in the feelings of truly getting that unwired. So beliefs are decisions. Start believing and really get true with yourself so you can truly believe of what's possible for you.
Oh, this is so powerful, this list. I'm gonna keep it for me.
Let's go. I love it so
Yeah.
much.
Super. Right. Elisha, in this podcast, we believe in peak performance. As we said before, work hard every day in every aspect of your life, in what we call the essentials. So, fitness, exhaust your body, nutrition, pick the right nutrients to,
Nutrition's big.
to have the energy that you need, rest, recover yourself, and have a good mindset to become a better version of yourself and unlock your potential. So, what habits or routines do you believe are essential for peak performance? And do you have a particular routine you do every day?
I have some things that I've really started to try to master is really taking time to connect with my higher power. For me, it's just getting quiet and having a conversation. And I believe in any kind of spiritual text that brings you closer to your higher power, whatever that looks like. That's a big thing for me, I've done, because I see when I was in the rat race and I was traveling the world, I was doing all the things, I wasn't quiet enough to hear the inner voice, the intuition that is our true guidance, that's truly telling you the truth. If we can tune into that, when I started to do that, for me, that was huge. And I've learned I have to get really quiet and devote time each day to get quiet, to listen. It's like power in stillness. So I think that's a big thing before anything else. And then I believe in truly moving your body. So obviously, if you're an athlete, you're going to move your body. But if maybe you're not doing sports anymore, it's still so crucial to take care of your body, because your body needs to also be fed and strengthened. And so I try to move my body. I try to lift weights, go on walks. I don't try to go to the extremes anymore, because I've learned that I'm going to listen to my body and what it needs. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else, because again, I'm getting my own answers now and nobody knows my answers besides me. So that's why coaches and guides are good, but they should be guiding you to find your own answers. So moving my body, And then I would say nutrition is big because I have found for me, this is like metaphysical growth, right? I've found if you're eating the right things, you can actually tune in with your own answers more on a deeper level, like your intuition. So I don't know if you've ever read the book Outwitting the Devil. It was written a long time ago.
No, but I will make a note.
Make a note on that. It's the same writer of, I believe, Think and Grow Rich that everybody loves.
Yes.
But I love this one even more because there's so much truth behind it, and how when it's like all these things that this other force is trying to feed us negative thoughts and get us to eat like all the crappy stuff, but our minds are clouded and we can't get clarity when we're junking that all up. So nutrition is big when we can really, again, master our bodies and eat the things that we need for performance physically, mentally, spiritually, in my opinion. So I've been working a lot on that. That's why I'm partnered with this company that they started like a year ago, and I love everything that's in it because I'm like, man, you put so much in that. And they were told by all these business gurus, like, you should make those 3 different products. But they're like, we want to be the best for the customer. We want this in one spot. So instead of just thinking how money hungry they could be, they're actually trying to do this. And everything's organic. And there's all these things in there that I'm like blown away. And the more I drink it, I just feel saturated with the protein I need from plants and all this, but I get all the extra stuff that my mind also needs to function optimally. So I'm like, that is so big. So nutrition.
And it's all in one, right?
Huh? And it's a
all
one
in one
product.
product.
It's not like,
That's
now I need you to go
easy,
buy the
man,
other one
because
and this one.
yeah, like at the moment I feel like a grandma, you know. I have this vitamin here, magnesium here, this algae here, this protein here. Like it's like, man, I just need one freaking product.
Yes. That's what I tried to do. And I kept thinking, I don't want to even take I just want one thing where I can kind of get that. And I still have my food and stuff. But
Yeah.
like that is such a big thing where it's like the multivitamin in a drink and the protein and the things that I'm definitely not going to be cooking every day. Like that's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's funny because I felt the same way. So nutrition's big.
Okay.
Obviously physical. So it's like so basically I just mentioned I'm feeding my spirit, my mind, and my body, like moving, all those things. Those are the habits. And then obviously trying to get good enough sleep. When I've come from, you see entrepreneurs going, I think, way more extremes of like, oh, you got to get up 5 and you shouldn't sleep anymore and you shouldn't do this. But I realize they're in the mode of just leading with money hunger.
The
And
5
for me,
a.m.
I'm like,
club, right? We've all seen
and I'm
that.
like, no, like quality of life, guys, why are you trying to get all this money to one day retire to one day if you can't learn how to enjoy the journey too and be healthy at the same time? I've learned there's something so wrong. And so I've been part of a lot of solar and other door-to-door teams where I'm like, this is corrupt in a lot of ways. And I have messages for that too. But I've learned sleep is very important,
Yeah.
especially for women when we're like, we create humans. Like, come
Yeah.
on, we're made different than men.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to subscribe to the men that are like, you have to do this, nah, and just be super masculine. There's a point where I'm like, yes, if you want to be an athlete, you have to evolve, you have to do these things. But I stay away from complete extremes. It's like, I'm still going to listen to my body. I'm still going to recover, and I'm going to nourish the other parts of me, not just the physical.
Yeah. That's so powerful. I mean, yeah, like it makes such a great difference if you are resting the time that your body needs. And I've read the book The 5 a.m. Club. Have you?
Okay.
Have,
I don't think I have, but I had a different one,
I
Miracle Morning.
really liked it. I mean, it really changed my life a little bit. Like it changed it helped me build a routine, but I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I think you have to read that book and then take it to your personal situation and just adapt
You
it
can
to
shoot
yourself.
your shot your
Yeah,
way.
exactly. Shoot your shot your way, like your shot.
Yes.
The guy's shot, then take your shot. Yeah, and it's so powerful, that book. I really liked it. I enjoyed reading
Okay.
it. And I've learned from it quite a lot, but definitely I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. because
Yes.
I'll be dead.
You're like, and that's where it's like, let's listen to our bodies for once instead of if there's gurus out there, they're going to say something, take what sticks. We don't have to believe everything they're saying. They are not God. They're not this. They're not that. And they have their own intuition of what works for them. And that's okay. I've learned, like, just take the pieces that work for you and then find what
Exactly.
works to shoot your shot on the highest level in all areas of life.
Yeah.
And that's even why, I don't know if I told you, I'm almost done with my certification for human design.
All right.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of like a newer
Not really.
thing, but it's cool because it just helps me to help people visually see and teach that find their, like, visually see their own strengths and to get rid of conditioning to allow themselves to be them. Each person I work with. I believe God is also an organized God. So why wouldn't certain things like astrology and things like when you came to Earth, we have this certain type of energetic platform we're supposed to live by. It's kind of interesting. I'd have to go deep dive with you, but anyway, when you kind of understand what we like stepped into to help us show up the best way and when we're in alignment with that, it's like we can just like soar because now we're not trying to show up like anybody else at
Exactly.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool stuff.
Amazing. Right. So if um, you had this person who is really struggling at the moment and wants to make changes in his or her life, what advice would you give to that person to start with?
I would say get quiet and get honest with yourself and then seek help and guidance and know that you're seriously not alone because it's truly about getting people's vibration. I've learned when we're out of vibration of that scarcity and that fear, it's hard to get out of that. And we need other people to help guide us on what that looks like. And that's why I love this coaching aspect of like, let me help you dejunk whatever is plaguing you with the thoughts, the things, the struggle, to know that there is hope. And it'll be okay if you'll start to ask. I just know that the art of receiving, there's a whole art of receiving where if you can really create what you want and then be humble enough to ask for it and then receive it and give thanks, it puts you in the mode to receive
Yeah,
what
that's
you're
super,
looking for.
that message is so powerful. Yeah, I do really believe in that too. Okay, Elisha, let's move to something a little bit funny now. Well,
Okay, cool.
not funny yet, but I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Inspirations and influences. Let's see. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Yeah. And
Okay.
so you just need to give me a name, if that makes sense, right?
Oh, shoot. I'm kind of nervous. Okay, let's go.
So an athlete that has inspired you.
An athlete?
Yeah.
Obviously, recently for me, I love seeing I don't want to sound like the whole cop out like everybody else, but Caitlin Clark, I think I've loved her. I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched a ton of her games, but I watched a ton of reels and a ton of things. And when I have seen her play,
Mm-hmm.
I'm drawn to energy. And I can just see that this woman she just plays with a different energy where she's like competing with herself. She's showing up because she loves the game. She's not like trying to be looking like super flashy and she just who she is. It's
Yeah.
like she's the epitome of like she's okay being her and she can work hard and love the game and her energy is just it's like that expanded like if I were to ever have a conversation with her, I'd love to see her belief system. I'd love to see what type of personal development she has and I'd love to point out the fact that I feel like when people come from a two-parent family home and not a broken home, it also adds to such a foundation for people's success and development. So there's a lot of different things there and I love seeing that she's just such a good example for young people to just go work hard and go do it and quit caring about all the noise around you.
Yeah.
And
Just
so that's inspirational
living
for
you.
me.
And something you said before, listen to yourself. That's what you said before. I mean, that I think that's so important because sometimes we get into our life routine, whatever it is, whether it's playing professional basketball, whether it's being a mom, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whatever it is.
We almost become robots. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're just a robot. We're just a rat, as you said before. I mean, I felt like a rat just on that wheel every single day. And you just don't listen to yourself. You don't know what's going on in your life. You just, one day after the other one, you just, go on. And it's so powerful to stop and just talk to yourself, listen to
Yes.
yourself. And recently, this last year, I started journaling, and I
Yes.
do
I can't
really
believe I didn't even
believe,
mention that. Yes. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I believe in the power of journaling so much because that helps you see what's happening inside your head, really.
You get it all out. Yes, on
Get it all
paper.
out. Yeah.
I would say that that is part of my routine because I used to never journal either. And I'm like, I used to think like that's stupid, whatever. And then, but when I started doing it, especially with my little quiet time, and I guess this for me would also, I just want one thing. I came across like a post or something. I don't know where I found it, but it's like, most of the time people think that they're thinking all day and nobody's actually thinking most of the day. It's like we get thoughts that come through our head, but to formulate an actual thought, like you're
Mhm.
sitting down, you're reading or you're pondering or you're finally connecting dots with something, that's like actually creating a thought, like an original thought that you're piecing together. And
Yeah.
that's why journaling is so cool, because it's like now you can just write out all the stuff, and then it's like these connections and neurons start to attach or whatever, right? And then
Yeah.
we're actually creating a thought. But most people, when I saw that, I was like, that is actually true. Because the more I've tapped into that power, you're like, oh, so this is just like chatter. And I just need to like calm that down so it's not like making me tired.
Yes.
So I can formulate a real thought. And that's, I love that. The journaling is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. A person who has inspired you outside of sports.
Outside of sports, who has inspired me? I'm drawing blank at the moment. Ooh, actually, I'm not. So I love music.
Okay.
Like I come more from a music family than I do a sports family, which people probably don't realize.
Really? You're so skillful. I mean, I love it. Like when I see those reels with the what you can do with that basketball ball, it's more than shoot a shot.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's my creative side. I realize I'm just such a creative, on the creative side of my brain, and I've always just been there, and I love music and it really feeds my soul. But that's why I feel like my spirit career would be like a rock star, because deep down I just want to like light up hearts with how I feel and how I see other people and how it's possible. And so, for a while there, I love the singer. There's a specific singer I love because I've seen her evolve
Hmm.
and step in. So I'll say it's like Pink. So I love Pink's music. Like it used to be even more like, maybe in my opinion, like kind of dark in some ways, but I used to resonate with her probably because I was in a dark place. And then when I study her life, I realize she's really just like rooting for that oddball, that odd man out, all the misfits. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I resonate, because I was always like a freaking misfit. I never understood people so much. And I'm like, and my mom was kind of a misfit. And anyway, I just see how she's grown, and it's like now that she has kids, it's like she's getting softer and she believes in the family unit, and she's worked through stuff with her husband when I've really like researched about it. And so it's inspiring to see her take those changes and evolve, but just show up as her on all the levels. Like, cool, maybe she was in a darker point and she shares that. And I've seen her on videos talking about, other movie stars or people won't even like say anything, but I'm going to share all my cards. Like, yeah, I used to be on drugs. I used to have this. Like, she'll just share it when most people just want to hide and cover, when it's like, I've learned if you have a story, your story is meant to be shared, because truthfully, we connect with humans through our flaws and our cracks and our weaknesses, not through our strengths. Like,
Hmm.
that's just not how we actually connect. And so she's kind of she inspires me because I just love how I can feel her energy and her authenticity through her music and speaking to those parts of me. But now that I'm a different vibration, I don't always listen to a lot of music, but there's still some music that I still love. And I'm just like, one day, if I have my show or I'm doing podcasting, those are definitely like two people I'd be like powerful women of like, hey, thank you for being this example. And I would love to even ask Pink, like, what is I know she was like Jewish raised up, but I wonder like how much she's truly trusted that side of her voice more, that she's like grown. Like those are my questions I want to tap into with these people.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So anyway,
So a book that has inspired you.
that's funny. Okay, I love this book. I talked about it a little bit. I have it right here. There's a lot of books that I love, but this
All
one
right.
specifically is based on a true story in time. And not that anything's all about money, but since Aladdin, I guess, is a true story, and it talks about it in here. Aladdin is the story of Musa of Mali, and he was the richest man to ever live this world, but he wasn't born into wealth. it's like Aladdin. He was like left to die by some greedy kids, whatever, has an out of body experience with the man made of light who taught him how the world works, like these 7 principles. Comes back to his body. He's poor, he's a thief. Like, how do you do that back in West Africa? Now become a sultan unless you were given all this information as a kid, right? Like, how does that even happen? When you don't have awareness, you don't have awareness. But it talks about the principles he lived by. And then he was this big, generous person with all this wealth. So he was a great leader. He wasn't just after the money, but he became something first and then did that. And so the more I kind of like the art of receiving that I just talked about is actually in this book.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple book. It's so small, but there's so much truth in it. And
Mhm.
it's taught through the lens of Aladdin because it teaches you like how your subconscious is like the genie and all these things through. It's just fun. And so I just see so much truth and I love it. And I know the author and I know his story. When he was given the information, like he became a multimillionaire just because he like lived those principles.
All
And
right.
it's truly getting people out of scarcity into abundance and faith type of mindsets and how we are creators and we can seriously create what we want in the right way.
Yeah. So what you believe and what you can visualize, you will hopefully have more chances to reach.
Yes, your highest potential and create, because one of the biggest things you'll find in here is how important imagination is. I've realized people are like so masculine, like there's masculine and feminine energy in all of us.
Mm.
But if we only stay in our masculine, we can't tap into that feminine energy of like the creative, the imagination, the intuitive, the source, the unknown, the all the things that is, because well, we know the masculine will produce, we're just going to stay to that instead of trust this side of us. And so imagination is such a power that I think people are losing that magic. That's like, it feels like magic when you can go into that because you're like, how did that happen? Wow, I created that. And that's why the gurus, you've probably heard that, wherever your focus goes, like everything expands. So, but that's why these things, like if you're focused on a negative life, like my life sucks, I'm a victim, you're going to continue to create those scenarios in your life until you make the switch and have awareness and start to create these scenarios and the things you want in your mind. Like Bob Proctor says, if you can see it in your mind, you can have it in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Like this is the power of visualization, right? I mean, athletes use it
so big.
so big.
That's why it makes so much sense where some, yeah, people, athletes like big time, it's like, cool, if you're injured, you better be like daily trying to focus on those reps mentally, because at the end of the day, that's going to be a huge piece anyway. Even if you're going and doing the work, I feel like that piece gets missed sometimes, because if you're going to do the work physically, but you have these beliefs that you still suck and you can't make it, you will still not shoot very high as you could until you rewire that part of yourself and believe. So you have to do that by creating it yourself too and taking the time to get quiet to do it.
Yes, that's it. So when you shoot your shot, you need to see that ball going in.
Yes, the mental reps, the belief reps, all the reps, and you got to feel it, because then that feeling is going to override the other doubtful feeling, and then you let that win instead.
Yeah, so powerful. So what's the best advice you have ever received that you can share with us today? I believe
Best
you've received quite a lot of good advice. One piece of advice, I suppose.
When I was ready to do the work, I had somebody say, Elisha, it's time for you to do the work. Go deep, and go do the work. So that's like one of my metaphors now of like, I tell people, instead of just going big, why not go deep or go home? Like people I've realized don't want to go deep. And when somebody told me that and I had the awareness, like, Elisha, do the work. And I didn't even know what the work really meant. Go deep. And
Yeah,
now I'm like, that is the best advice. Quit going surface level and go deep with yourself, with relationships, with the work, and watch what magic comes of that.
love it. Go deep. Make a note. Go
Go
deep.
deep. It's depth.
Okay. Right, let's talk about mindset a little bit now.
Okay.
So, what do you think about the everybody wins mentality versus the only one winner approach?
I like this question. I've had some thoughts about that. I'm a believer in abundance. So I do believe, like just in life in general, sports, whatever, I believe that everybody can win with themselves if they're willing to do the work. Now, I'm not a believer of like, we're all going to win because I'm going to carry the load and you're going to win too because I don't want to hurt your feelings. No,
Hmm.
nobody gets copped out of like you reap what you sow. Like you gotta, if you want to win, you also have to do the work. So that's why I'm a believer of like, as I bring more women together right now, these powerful women, I'm like, we can all truly help each other win together. And there's enough in the universe for us all to be super abundant in every aspect of life. And even if there's only one winner, like in sports, truly you're winning if you're still focusing on yourself. You're humble when maybe your team doesn't win, but you are still refining yourself every day, and you're not letting that loss define who you are as a person. And so
Mhm.
when you can get to that level of growth of like, cool, I can be humble that I lost that and I can still show up this way, because even the greats lose some time. Even the greats don't shoot 100%. And so you have to work on that level of being. You have to become something before you can do more. You have to become something where you can receive more. So if you only focus on this part and you skip the becoming, like you're limited.
Yeah, amazing answer. Yes. So believe in yourself. Everybody can win, but you have to do the work. That's so
You
powerful.
personally have to. You can get guides and help like to guide you, but you have to do it.
Exactly. Yes. How do you balance competitiveness with sportsmanship?
I guess it can kind of dip with the last question a little bit. I think number one, you should be always competing with yourself, because when you're always just battling yourself to be better, then you can always be okay with like if you lose. Because I really feel like it's like when you can tame that ego piece, that ego that everybody can experience, if that gets in the way, then you become a sore loser, because now it's about you looking stupid or feeling a certain way, versus if I can kind of tame that and let go of that and just do my work and focus on me, then I'm going to show up the best way possible I know how at that given time. And I can give myself grace that I did that. And then and then my energy's better, instead of, because I feel like if you're not in sportsmanship, it's because you've let the ego and the pridefulness take over,
Yeah.
and now you're going to act that way because there's a message that there's something inside you that just needs to be changed. I've learned that nobody inherently is like evil or mean. It's just when things haven't been taken care of and you haven't done work around those parts of you, it's going to show up and everybody's going to feel that energy and it's going to look ugly. So
Yeah.
instead it's be like, oh, what is that? Okay, I want to change that so I can show up and be a competitor that's like humble and just and love the game and be like, yeah, okay, a lot. I don't like losing. It doesn't mean you have to enjoy losing, but you don't have to have a big ego about it and make a scene about it.
Yeah. And again, that's why it's so important to listen
Do
to
the work
yourself and
and
work
listen.
on yourself first, right?
Yeah, they all go like intertwined together. It's like, cool.
Yeah. All right. So, what role does mindset play in achieving physical and mental success?
The mindset. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning, kind of, as I've done so much deep diving, especially the last few months per se, I've realized that everything can be created and healed through your mind. So if you're not trying to control and master your mind and learn how to do that, you're missing out on so much, because when you can control your mind, again, now you can tap into imagination, you can tap into positivity, you can tap into believing, and then you can truly create the player you want to be, the person you want to be, the lifestyle you want to have. But if you let all these outer thoughts control you and these doubtful things because you haven't learned to master or discipline your mind, then now you're being acted upon instead of acting. And it's the acting versus being acted upon that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So everything
Oh,
starts with mindset, really.
exactly. Like mindset is so important
Yeah.
for every
That's it.
aspect of.
I will say I'm a woo woo a little bit, right? I believe if you like, usually if we have an injury or something going on with our body, there's like a message behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer of that. And that usually came from some limiting belief or something going on. And it's like, that's why if we'll listen and we'll look at it and we'll go deep and we'll find what that is, it comes back again to the mind.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 No, I do believe in the power of the mind. The mind
So
is so
powerful.
powerful, so powerful.
And we can control it if we choose to do that.
Yeah. But again, you have to be willing to do that, and you have to work on it.
It takes work.
Exactly. It does take work, but yeah, you can do it.
Discipline is freedom. I guess that's another definition of freedom. It's just like
Yeah.
discipline is freedom.
exactly. Yeah, it is. It is.
When people think it's the other way around, it's like, oh, freedoms, because now I can go do this, this, and this. And then you're trapped and it's almost you're chained to things outside of you. It's like, no, the
Mm.
true freedom's the discipline. Discipline yourself, discipline your mind, and you will find so much success out of that.
Yeah, and I would say in relation to what you said about ask for help or, a mentor, a coach is important. I do believe it is important, but I also believe that books are so powerful,
Yes,
like
yes.
so powerful, and they're so cheap. Like 20 books,
Agreed, agreed.
20 books can teach you more than 4 years in college in whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you could be
No, no, I
reading.
agree with you. I wish I would have read a lot more. The only difference that I found with a coach, even if you don't, if you can find somebody that will just like give you guidance for free or whatever, it's like sometimes they tell you how to apply it though. I found that
Yeah,
there
no,
are
no, no.
differences in books and that, but
Yes,
that's a good place to start because if you can at
yes,
least get your mind in a good place, you'll start
exactly.
to do some of the work
Yeah,
that
yeah.
leads
No,
to the
no, I'm
rest.
not. I'm not comparing mentors or coaches with books. I think there are two completely different things, and both are so helpful. But like, if you don't know where to start, maybe the easiest
Books,
thing would
yes.
be a book, which will
Yes.
prepare your mentality to move on to the next step, next level.
Yes, and the personal development, because I know I meet people that are like, they don't have to do personal development because they're stuck in their career and it's like they poo-poo on personal development. It's like, okay, and look at your attitude, look at your energy. That speaks where you're at. I don't care if you're this or that and making this kind of money because it's like people like limit their growth. It's like, okay, I'm cool. I made this money. Now I'm just gonna go watch TV and sit in this complacent
Yeah,
lifestyle. It's like I like my life. I might even have much money as you yet, but you know what I mean? It's all
yeah,
about cool. Yeah, use the books first. Do the personal development books are just huge because you'll start to get nuggets and then
yeah,
you'll start to tap in a little bit more. And then the next book, and then maybe you do get a mentor. It just leads to everything. It opens
yeah,
your mind.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, fuel your mind with the books and the good stuff instead of just stupid stuff on social media, or find the good stuff on social media because it's
Exactly.
like what is your lens looking for? What are you seeking? You will find these books, you will find the people if you
Yes,
are seeking. And so I guess the word is intention. We haven't talked about that, but intention's a huge thing. Well, what is your intention?
yeah.
And then you can seek through your intention.
And that's also how the algorithm is designed, right? Whatever you seek for, it comes up to your
Yep,
to
yep.
your phone. Like
So it
if you
shows
seek
what
for
your mind's
crap,
already doing.
yeah, you get crap all the time. So that's what it is.
So true, so true.
Okay, so what's your go-to pre-game or pre-workout song?
I haven't been playing games lately, but what is my go-to workout song? That is a good question. I have so much different music. I don't even know if I have a specific song right now. And
Okay,
I'm kind of weird. I have playlists where, I'll maybe have like those like the upbeat and this and that.
what's your
What do
style?
I listen to when I work out? Like right now, it's so funny. When I work out right now, it's changing a little bit. I'll listen to like high vibe yoga music. It's so funny. I'm
All
like,
right.
yeah, whatever. Because I'm just trying, I understand vibration and frequency, and there's some music, like when I am at the gym, I'll get more like super rock or maybe a little bit of rap, but like I just love the vibration that music brings to me and my
Yeah.
soul. And like,
Okay, cool. Favorite workout or exercise?
favorite workout, obviously love playing a game of scrimmage, basketball, pickup ball, and then I love to lift.
Okay.
And I do like, if I'm going to do cardio, I do like to just get on a stationary bike, and I'm trying to do a little bit more yoga, doing I'm trying to create my own stuff that I just like to do between lifting and the stretching, but really just tapping into being present with my mind because I've been trying to heal my back and I've actually found more success. Like this lady, I was seeking something and asking, she brings me the booty strap and I'm like, this thing is so magic. It's like God is so good. He just puts whatever right in front of me if I'm willing to ask. Because I've realized with spine loading, if you're always putting so much on your spine all the time, and I've had lower back pain, I've stopped doing that. And she's created this device to where I can target my glutes and quads with a lot of weight and not have to spine load. And it's been magical because I'm like, I can get a great workout. My back doesn't hurt. Wow, that's
Cool.
huge. So, yeah.
I've seen that in some of your reels, and it looks quite
Yeah.
cool.
She just
And you
came out
make
of
it so
nowhere. I'm
funny
like,
again.
Yeah, she invented it because there was nothing out there like it. And I
Yeah.
agree. Because sometimes, even if you want to do legs, think about it. You have to put that little thing around your ankle, and then
Yeah.
it's tight, and it's annoying to switch the other leg, and it takes forever. Where this is like you just step in and out, and it's fast, and you can put it around your body, and you can get creative with it. And they really don't have anything in the market. And that's why she made it. And I was like,
Cool.
I love that.
Yeah. Love it. One food you can't live without.
One what?
Food. Food.
Oh, one kind of food
Yeah.
that I can't live without. Well, I'm trying to master those things. No, I'll just say some of my favorite that I can't live without. Like a meal or
Yeah. For me, will do.
that is so hard right now. Just good nutrition that tastes good. No, I'll just give you some favorites that I love. Have you ever had pho?
No.
It's like a Vietnamese dish. I
Okay.
love. It's like a big thing of soup, I guess you could say, but it's also got rice noodles and meat in it and all this stuff in it.
Okay.
I love a fresh Asian type food, so that's why I like Thai food and cultural stuff like that. I'm like, "Ugh, the
Yeah, like
flavor and it's healthy. If something can taste really healthy and taste delicious, I'm like, I'm all in.
and
And so
spicy.
that's me. That's what I don't want to live without. It's like every time you go just your taste buds and eat the crappy stuff, and then you feel so heavy, and then you
Yeah.
can't function. I'm like, no. And then a snack that I love, it's funny, two snacks. I love gummy bears.
Okay.
I try to limit those. I'm a gummy bear. I love gummy bears. And then I love like a super good glazed donut. If I were to get
Okay.
my little side over there, my little vices.
Cool. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
What about those things? There's so many, but as I've already learned how to create, and that's a superpower for us, I'm going there. I don't have to choose that one. I would say flying. Flying would be so fun because I'm just that type of person. I want that feeling of like you go on like Harry Potter and you see him like on Buckbeak and you're like just the soaring, what it feels like. I love the rush of a little bit of adrenaline, but just like that, it's like a freedom feeling at the same time, right? Like I can just go anywhere, experience anything. I used to love traveling because I just love to, experience so much that, all God's creations. So I would probably say that, even though
Okay.
there's some other powerful ones, but that would be a fun one.
Cool. So, what would you say to your young Elisha?
So many things.
One thing you would say?
Yeah, just trust God. It's so much of an easier route with him. Not per se easy, you're still going to be refined, but you just have so much more power and peace and strength, and you don't feel alone doing it anymore. It's like people will tell me right now, Alicia, you're the happiest single person I know. I was like, because I've been mastering finding happiness outside myself.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I would say, something just for her to understand that of if you connect here, you no longer have to feel that with a person or anything. And when that time comes, the right person will come and just complement what you're already doing. Not that I need you. When I've learned that you have to need somebody,
Yeah.
that's a lack state, not an abundant state. The only thing that I feel like we should technically need is when you're tapped into that. We're all just really looking for a feeling in life. I've learned, even if we want money or this and that, it's all a feeling we're trying to attain. Money's going to make me feel secure. Money's going to give me these experience to feel enlightened. Money's going to whatever. A person's going to make me feel loved. Okay. What if God can actually do all of the things that you actually want to feel and more?
Yeah. Yeah. So powerful. Elisha, it's been an honor to have you here with us today. I really appreciate your time, your energy. It's been so powerful. Your message, it's so powerful. Shoot your shot. Thank you
Yes.
once again for being here with us. Could you share with the audience where they can find you in social media? I will leave all of the details below, but if you want to share
Yeah,
your.
for sure. You can find me. I'm usually more on my Instagram than anything at Elisha A. Harris is my platform. That's TikTok and Instagram. I do use Instagram the most. And then my Facebook is Elisha Harris. There's no A, so that's a little bit different to find. And then I'm going to be working on my YouTube. That's not fully going yet, but those are the places you can find me, and you can find more details of what I'm all about, even on my bio link that's on my Instagram. So,
Okay, I will leave the details here in the description below anyway.
okay,
So,
cool.
one final question before we go, Elisha. If you had to leave our audience with one piece of advice that to start their journey today towards peak performance, what would it be?
Towards peak performance in life and sports?
Yeah, in general, I guess.
Go deep and connect with your higher power, your source.
Love it. Go
Yep.
deep and connect with your higher power.
Yes.
Thank you, Elisha Harris. Thank you for being here once again. It's been an honor. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. It's been my pleasure to be on here. So this has been so fun. So much gratitude.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember, your peak performance starts with small daily actions. This episode brought you value. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe, and let's keep pushing the limits together. Follow us at eNAP Sport for more, and I'll see you in the next episode.